So, discussing the important questions here, the difference between playing in the style of Debussy and playing in the style of Ravel. Okay, so the surface level, they're quite similar. You have the whole tone stuff. You have the fourths and fifths. Then on top of that, you have, particularly with Debussy, you have the stuff I would sort of call modal chord sequences. Now, what I mean by that is that you would have, say, if you pick a key, say in this case E major, nice bright key. Kind of going through these in a very parallel motion, often triadic or something. It can be. It could be in other things. Often with a pen. Yeah, but like more importantly, so there's lots of pieces like for the first, the Prelude from the Sweet Bergamask. I'm kind of using almost neoclassical figurations. Another thing, of course, is again parallel chords with things like ninths. Very sort of orchestral sound. That's very more. That's again slightly more Debussy. So that sort of thing is. These sort of sounds like in terms of harmony are far more Debussy sounding. They kind of these sort of diatonic sounds, and then I would say that Ravel has a much more a tendency towards kind of stacking things like ninths or actually what would you call them? Seventh chord, like chord 7. What are you going to call these? Classical terminology. These are the ones that sound like this. In jazz, they would be called half diminished chords. The stacking things like that together are ninths, and getting sounds like that. And his things tend to be so more motivically developed. So if there was a line that was like that is definitely a difference. I mean, On the other hand, when we think of Debussy, we always think of the more famous pieces like the Image or L'Île Joyeuse, pour le piano. A lot of that stuff is lots of whole tones. But then you have these things like the toccata, which is very neoclassical. That one, I haven't played that in many years actually, but the but that's my point not to play it, but that you again that's very much this sort of modal kind of harmony, but just with neoclassical figuration. That sort of thing crops up quite a lot actually. You know, these sort of usages of minuets, sarabands, in Debussy, not so much in Ravel. Ravel, I would say, at least in the piano music, if we're just going to just dismiss out of hand anything to do with kind of pastiches of Spanish music, so the stuff that kind of sounds like Albinith or something like that, or you know. But I'm sure if you're familiar with Ravel or Debussy, you know exactly what I'm getting at. That was probably pretty rubbish as far as it goes. Yeah, so we're going to not be thinking of that sort of stuff. We're thinking more about the other things. So, yeah. So characteristics, marking them out. Well, the piano stuff of Ravel, actually there's not that much of it compared to Debussy. There is some, but not huge amounts. And I'd say the main thing I would do is it's really virtuosic. It'd be really getting around the piano as much of this sort of stuff as of this, and then also compared to Debussy's stuff, I think a lot of it, the figuration is slightly more austere. I mean, there's a lot of this kind of vague. That's always sounds more Debussy like to me. That sort of thing. Whereas the kind of hand crossing and yeah. It's all kind of more austere. And the virtuosic stuff is actually quite a lot of that kind of thing. So, but ultimately, aiming for the difference, well, there's a lot of stuff is the same as we discussed. Debussy would be more the kind of hanging out of tempo stuff. Similar, would be kind of, and they would eventually establish a tempo. I think if I was trying to do the same thing with the style of Debussy, sorry, the style of Ravel, there would be, I would first of all, I would actually change the harmony faster. I think that's the stuff that's actually just sounds straight up Debussy. I think the unprepared whole tone stuff is actually very hard to make that sound like Ravel. I think that though, because I mean you're always in danger of getting into the sort of this sound world. So you're scrapping. Again, it's for composers quite hard to actually again imitate. In a way, it's very easy. Just sort of murky. So this, if you hit one wrong chord, that's okay. And then one thing wrong, it's right out of the stuff.